So following the Chile game, what is England's best team? Rather than rate the players for that particular game, I'm going to talk about what I think their best team is going forward, because now I think every game is going to be their best team for that situation for sure. But against Samoa, they're going to have to play their best team, A, to win, and B, they won't have played for a while because it's a rest week for them next weekend. And then, of course, it's the quarterfinals and maybe onwards. Chile didn't really give up too much opposition, that is for sure, in defence, but it certainly showcased some of England's attacking players, that's for sure. So let's get into it. England's best team, the one I think should take the park against Samoa. Number 1, Loosehead. It's tricky. Genge is their best player, but I do want him off the bench. I'm going to go for Marler and then Genge. Rod, yeah, he had a decent game against Chile, but I don't know if he'd stand up to the big scrummaging team. So Marler, then Genge is the way I'm going, but you could start Genge, definitely. At hooker, I think it's pretty clear. Jamie George to start, Dan to come on. Theo Dan had a brilliant game against Chile. He's very explosive. I would bring him on for quite a few minutes actually towards the end, so maybe 20 minutes of Dan. I think he's good enough. Sure, he's young and untested, but from what we've seen, he's very exciting. George, very solid, very good player. Get the set piece going. Tight head, our problem area, as I've mentioned before. Cole Sinclair, I think he's your best shot. Sinclair getting back to some sort of good form is the way to go. Who's on the bench? Well, absolutely no idea, to be honest. Will Stewart continues to underwhelm. Cole's a veteran, but let's go for the veteran, and at least he can come on and hold up the scrum, you would hope. Probably not an impact sub, but there we go. So Sinclair, then Cole. Second rows. I think we got our answer actually against Chile. I was saying maybe Ribbons is the better player than Chesham, and I think in that Chile game we actually saw it. When Chesham came on, he didn't have the impact of Ribbons. He's a young player. He's going to get better, as will Martin. But I think Ribbons right now is the better second row of Toje Ribbons. I'm 100% sure that's the way to go. Who covers second row on the bench between Martin and Chesham? Well, I think you go Martin, mainly because of the fact that he covers 6 a bit better and he's a little bit harder hitting. In the back row, I think it's pretty certain you go Laws at 6. He's your best blindside. He's your best line-out option from there. Definitely good leader, good carrier, very experienced. Ludlam's an able backup. You could play Curry there if you wanted, but yeah, no one displaces Laws. 7 and 8. Well, Ben Earl is needed at 8 very badly. Vunipola gave it a good crack against Chile, but you could see he's just not that explosive, not that quick. We knew that anyway. Ben Earl, when he came on against Chile, outshone him in the short amount of time he was on. So there's your answer if we didn't know it already. Ben Earl at 8, a slightly smaller 8, but very dynamic. Best 7? I think it's still Tom Curry. Sure, we've only seen him for a brief glimpse before his red card, but he is England's best 7. Willis, fantastic tackler, will give you everything. I think he's a great bench option. In the backs, I think Mitchell has to be your 9. He still hasn't fully exploded onto the scene yet, but he's got that pace, he's got that dynamism that Kerr and Youngs just don't have anymore. Kerr and Youngs have done okay actually. I'd probably have Kerr on the bench, Mitchell starting. England need Mitchell to fire. At number 10, you stick with George Ford. He's been at the centre of everything England have done well. He couldn't have done any more, so I don't think Farrell should come straight back in for sure, but that's a big call. Let's see what Borthwick does. At inside centre, it's between Tuolangi and Lawrence to me. Very, very close. I don't think Farrell is the answer because A, he can't make gain line when he carries, and B, I don't think we need an extra ball player or kicker with the backline I've chosen. I think I'll go for Lawrence, just the younger guy, a bit more dynamic, a bit more energy, but Tuolangi I think would do a good job. At outside centre, even though Daly I thought had a really good game against Chile, created an awful lot, the defence wasn't the best, and I think Marchant is still the man at 13. In the back 3, I'm going to pick the 2 most attacking wingers that I think we've got in Arundel and Daly. Arundel has to play for pure pace. He created a couple of tries with his pace against Chile. Sure, he was given a couple of others. Daly's been the best out of May and Malins, that's for sure. So he plays, plus he can cover 13 and he can kick and be an extra playmaker as well. At 15, I think you go horses for courses. If it's dry conditions, you want to play a bit. I think Smith has to play. He's the only fullback that can really beat players one-on-one. He's very creative and he can be your second playmaker from 15 to go off Ford. Stewart still has a place if it's raining maybe, or you want to kick an awful lot, then maybe Stewart and Smith on the bench, but I think they can go either way, but I go with Smith if you had to push me. On the bench I think Farrell covers 10, Tuolangi covers 12, Lawrence can go to 13. March can go to the wing if he needs to. That's what I think England's best team is. That's the one I want to see take the park against Samoa and have a good game. Let me know what you think England's best team is. All those comments below, and I'll catch you next time.